What's up, guys? We're getting ready to start a Robot Master Weapons only run of Mega Man 7 for the Super Nintendo. The rules are quite simple. I'm never allowed to use the Mega Buster except for on the very first Robot Master that I fight. Other than that, this is a run just for the Robot Master Weapons. Alright, here we are in the intro stage and everything. Throughout this stage, it's a good idea just to take hits and plow through enemies, because at the end of the stage, you're going to have to sit there and take hits anyway, so go ahead and let the damage build up now. We got a little forced Mega Buster area right here. I really like the music that plays throughout the intro stage here in Mega Man 7. It's one of my favorite songs in the entire game. Like I was saying, no, I'm never allowed to use the Mega Buster except for where it's forced, like where you just seen right there. I have to use it on the very first Robot Master that I fight. I also can't use Rush or anything like that unless it's forced, of course. So yeah, this is a run just for the Robot Master weapons. You actually don't have to use your Mega Buster at all against base right here. Just let the damage build up and then he'll kind of taunt you. I love all the different stuff that he says to you. He's just like, is this guy for real? This guy took out Dr. Wily? Seriously? Yeah, he pretty much tells you that you're a weakling and to leave the fighting to the two of them. I kinda like that. Alright, time for the Robot Master stages. There's only one forbidden first Robot Master choice here in Mega Man 7, and that's Burst Man. You can't fight Burst Man first because he has the Crab mini-boss, and that forces Buster use. But other than that, you can take on whoever you want for your first Robot Master. We're gonna go ahead and take out Freeze Man first. Don't worry too much about taking damage here at the beginning of the stage, because they'll give you a big energy pellet here pretty soon. I really like the music in Freeze Man stage. Really, all the music in Mega Man 7 is really good. Mega Man 7 has one of the best soundtracks in the series, in my personal opinion. Just kind of hide out down here. Here we go. I also like Freeze Man stage a lot. It just looks really cool and everything. I like the polar bears that you see here and there, as well as these enemies right here that drop these icicles. Go ahead and grab this health and keep on moving. In my opinion, Freeze Man is one of the best overall Robot Masters in the entire Classic series. He has a really good stage, wonderful music, his boss fight is really hectic and a lot of fun as well, always keeps you moving and everything. His weapon leaves a little bit to desire, but we'll get into that later on. His stage has quite a few hidden items for you to get, 3 in fact. Right off the top of my head, you can get one of the Rush circuit plates here, you can get Rush Search, and you can get the Escape unit, as well as an energy tank. So yeah, there's quite a bit to collect in a stage as well. I love the waterfalls in the background in this area. Time your jump really well to get through this area. I like the different polar bears that you see here and there throughout a stage. Alright, you got some enemies on rocket sleds throughout this area. Just let them go over you, or jump over the last one, of course. Alright, just like that, we are now at Freeze Man. I really like the dinosaur that you see in the background that's all frozen and everything, and his lair right here kinda reminds me of Skullman's lair from Mega Man 4. I also like how if you don't do anything at the start of the fight, he'll taunt you. He pretty much just says, bring it. One of my favorite things about Freeze Man is he has one of my favorite boss fights in the entire Classic series. He's just really hectic. You're always jumping and sliding and maneuvering past everything. He puts up a really good fight. He's one of the best ice-based Robot Masters in my opinion. Not to mention he looks pretty cool as well. Pretty much every time you shoot he's going to jump, so use that to your advantage. Shoot whenever you need him to jump, that way you can slide under him. Whenever he'll jump and freeze the ground, be sure to jump as it reaches you, that way you don't get frozen. He'll also shoot an ice ball into the ceiling and make icicles form and fall, so be sure to dodge those as well. Overall, it's a really hectic, but also a really fun battle. And I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite fights, like I said. I like the way how Mega Man looks whenever he's powering up in this game. The way how the bubbles look whenever they're circling him, I meant. Alright, for defeating Freeze Man, we get the Freeze Cracker weapon, which is an okay weapon, but far from being the best weapon in Mega Man 7. Pretty much it's just your regular Buster shot, except you can aim it, and if it hits a wall or anything, it'll shatter and go in 6 directions. So overall, it's an okay weapon, but not the best. It's just fairly weak, and you can only have one shot on the screen at a time. You can aim the weapon, so that's really good about it, and it has some utility uses, such as freezing lava and stuff like that. But pretty much it's just an aimable standard Mega Buster shot. So it's an okay weapon, but not the best. It's pretty good on weapon energy. It only uses 1 bar of weapon energy per shot, thus giving you 28 uses to a full bar of weapon energy. So it is good on weapon energy, but overall it's too weak to be useful in a whole bunch of situations. It's pretty much just an aimable standard Mega Buster shot that can also freeze lava and stuff. So overall, an okay weapon, but not the best. I'm going to take the lower path here. Here we are in Junkman stage. I like Junkman stage. Good music. I like stages with split paths, and this is one of those kind of stages, of course. If you take the upper path and you have Thunderbolt, you can power up some electronic machines and use those, but we don't have that yet, so I took the lower route so we could use a Freeze Cracker a little bit more. You'll want to try and save a Freeze Cracker as much as you can if you're taking the same route as I am, because you're going to need every single shot of Freeze Cracker for Junkman whenever you get to him. Alright, we got some footholder type enemies over here. Got junk falling on them. These footholders are a lot less annoying than the ones from Mega Man 1 because these guys follow a set flight pattern and they never shoot at you unless they have junk on them. Okay, destroy that. Gotta time the jump here in just a moment. I like the little junk snakes that you see in the junk piles here and there, as well as the Famicom looking things that you see in the background. Pretty cool stuff. Alright, got all of our energy back in Freeze Cracker. We're just about to Junkman. Avoid all the enemies throughout this area. Jump over that net. Alright, we're now at Junkman. Like I said, if you're taking the same route as I am, you're going to need every single shot of Freeze Cracker, so be sure to make every shot count on Junkman. Alright. At the beginning of the fight, Junkman will jump up and slam down onto the floor, causing junk to fall down from the ceiling. Just avoid that the best you can. Don't shoot at him or anything whenever he's sucking junk in with his magnet hand. Whenever he lands on that big pile of junk that he made, stand at the very far wall that's away from Junkman. That way he'll jump all the way across the room and give you plenty of room to slide underneath the junk shield whenever he shoots that off. After he's done that, it's now your opportunity to score as much damage as you can because he'll keep hopping back and forth across the room. He'll jump to the middle, then to the side, then he'll jump all the way across and throw a piece of junk at you, so slide to dodge that piece of junk whenever he goes to throw that. And after he's done that, he'll just repeat the same pattern, just keep doing everything you've been doing. Stand against the far wall away from him, slide under the junk shield, start getting your damage in again. Like I said, he'll jump to the middle, then to the wall at the far end, then he'll jump across the room, throw a piece of junk, just slide to dodge it. Very, very easy pattern to learn and destroy him with. If you have his weakness, the Thunderbolt, he becomes even easier, if you can believe that. Pretty much if you have the Thunderbolt, it's as easy as shoot him and then slide, shoot him, slide, etc., etc. Because after every shot you score on him, he'll jump and throw a piece of junk at you, so he becomes really easy. Whatever the case, though, with Junkman now down and out, it's time to get probably the best weapon in all of Mega Man 7. Alright, for defeating Junkman, we get the Junk Shield weapon, which, in my opinion, fights with Jewel Satellite from Mega Man 9 as the best shield weapon in the entire classic series. It's very, very powerful. It stays with you for a long time. It will stay with you through screen transitions, meaning that you can go through several areas using just 1 or 2 shields. It uses 3 bars of weapon energy per shot, thus giving you 9 uses to a full bar of weapon energy, which is about right for such a powerful weapon and everything. Overall, in my opinion, Junk Shield is one of the best weapons, not only in Mega Man 7, but in the entire classic series. Very, very good weapon. Alright, here we are in Burst Man stage. I like the music here in Burst Man stage. I actually played Mega Man 7 for years and years before I started noticing the potion bottles that you'll see here and there in certain spots in the background here throughout this stage. Alright, we got a little bit of water areas. A lot of Burst Man stage will be taking place in the water, which I like. You got the countdown bombs and stuff. We'll use Junk Shield throughout this area to take out the Aqua Mets. We got a mini-boss coming up. Junk Shield will make really quick work of that mini-boss. You'll want to try and save as much of Freeze Cracker as you can for the battle against Burst Man, because he's weak to that. He's weak to that and Scorch Wheel both. Both of those do the exact same amount of damage to him. Which is kind of odd considering that Slash Man is also kind of weak to both of them, except Freeze Cracker does more damage than Scorch Wheel does to him. So you'd think that they would have made Scorch Wheel do more damage to Burst Man. But hey, doesn't really matter, I suppose. Wait for the water to come back down. We'll give this weapon energy to Freeze Cracker. There we go. Wait for the water to go back up, and we'll keep on moving. There aren't really a whole lot of hidden items here in Burst Man stage. You can only get one big item, and it's one of the rush circuit plates, and that one's just sitting right out in the open, so really this stage doesn't have any hidden items. Alright, we got some Yoku blocks here. Can't have a Mega Man game without some Yoku blocks. I always kind of wondered what that white stuff is inside of that little container in the middle of this room. Kind of strange, but it doesn't really matter, I suppose. Got another Yoku block section right here. Really easy one. You don't see many Yoku blocks in Mega Man 7, but hey, they at least put some in, I suppose. We'll just keep using Junk Shield throughout this area. We got another Rising Water area throughout here. Alright, just be careful of some of the sea mines if you're using Junk Shield, because you don't want to get too close and take damage from the explosion. We don't have too much further before we're at Burst Man. Wait for the water to come back up here. Always kind of wonder what the green stuff is. It's moving around in the little platform that I'm on. Some of the stuff in this stage does kind of confuse me at times. Still is a pretty good stage, though. Alright, we are now at Burst Man. I really like the way how Burst Man's layer is all designed. I like the little bubbly things against the wall and the floor and everything, and how you can actually bounce yourself around the room using those. Really cool little boss layer design, in my opinion. Just try to time your shots with Freeze Cracker so you can keep continually hitting Burst Man. If you have trouble doing that, you can always shoot the wall and let one of the shattered shots from Freeze Cracker hit Burst Man from behind. Be careful if you choose to do that, though, because it might knock Burst Man into you. If you get caught in one of Burst Man's bubbles, you can either try shooting really quick to pop the bubble, or you can slide right as it gets near the spikes. I'm not so sure that shooting fast would do good enough with weapons only, but yeah. Time to get another weapon. Alright, for defeating Burst Man, we get the Danger Wrap weapon, which lets us shoot a bomb that's encased inside of a bubble. Occasionally, you'll also encase other enemies inside of that bubble. If you encase an enemy inside of the bubble, you can push that enemy into another enemy to kill two in one. The weapon is fairly powerful. Just the bubble and bomb combination alone isn't too terribly powerful, but you can also drop mines on the floor. If you hold down and press the shot button, you'll just drop a bomb by itself onto the floor. Those are really powerful, and the weapon is also really powerful if you've encased an enemy inside of the bubble. So yeah, the weapon can be really powerful, but just shooting an enemy alone with just the bubble and bomb combo, it has decent strength, but not a whole lot. It uses up okay energy, 2 bars of energy per use, thus giving you 14 uses to a 4-bar weapon energy. Overall, it's a pretty decent weapon, good if you know what enemies to use it on. It's good for getting rid of Gabyals. And it's good up close if you want to just keep dropping mines on enemies. Overall, pretty decent weapon. Not the best though, but it is a pretty decent one. Here we are in Cloud Man stage. I really like the music in this stage. I also like how you can actually freeze these cloud platforms and make them crumble apart. If you were to return to Cloud Man stage with his weapon, the Thunderbolt, and use it on these cloud platforms, it'd actually make them thunderclouds and they'd actually start hurting you. Just kind of interesting little things that you can do with the weapons here in Mega Man 7. Normally the floors that you see all iced over here would be invisible, but since we caused it to snow by shooting the Weather Maker with Freeze Cracker, we can actually see where we're going throughout this area. Alright, wait for this Sniper Joe to drop his guard and we'll kill him. There are a few different items for you to collect here in Cloud Man stage. There's a giant bolt that's worth 100, hidden right where that life energy is at below me. You can also get a visit from Proto Man right up that ladder up there, but that forced rush usage for us. And you can also get another one of the rush circuit plates. So yeah, you got a handful of items that you can get in this stage. We're at the final stretch of Cloud Man stage right now. Just keep using Junk Shield to take out these guys, little Airman type wannabe creature things. Alright, we're now at Cloud Man. I like the little lightning that you see back there. Alright, Cloud Man is weak to the Danger Wrap weapon. I like what it does to Cloud Man. It causes him to fall on his butt by destroying the cloud from underneath him. Kind of a funny little way to destroy him, I suppose. If you want to get a couple of quick hits in on him, you can just drop a few mines, wait for him to run into those. If you use his weakness, though, he won't have a chance to get anything off. Pretty much he'll just shoot a few lightning bolts at you, just jump over those. He'll also make it rain. It's random whether he'll make it rain to the left or to the right. Just be Be sure to press against the rain and slide under Cloudman as he moves back and forth. Overall, he has a fairly simple battle pattern and everything. Whatever the case, though, it's time to get another weapon. Alright, for defeating Cloudman, we get the Thunderbolt weapon, which essentially lets us fire constant charge shots. So, it's a really good weapon. Alright, time for the next stage. Alright, here we are in the Robot Master Museum, or Robot Museum. I like the little scholar enemies that you see at the top that are from Nightman stage, and the Met bushes. Lots of really neat things here in this stage. You see Plant Man in the background at the beginning right here, back there. You got Snake Man and Blizzard Man. I remember that there was a rumor a long time ago of people saying that Cutman was in this little container here and that he's actually in Mega Man 7 as a hidden battle. People were speculating that because you see him in the comic strip in the newspaper in the intro of Mega Man 7. So far, nobody's ever found it, and I personally don't believe that Cutman is in Mega Man 7. You got Flame Man in the background back there, Pharaoh Man and Heat Man. Plant Man again shows the background loops and everything. Personally, I believe that Guts Man was in that capsule because obviously Dr. Wily is stealing him right here. Dr. Wily and his fascination with Guts Man, I'll never understand it. Got Skull Man and Ring Man in the background. I also really love the music that plays throughout this stage of the remix of Guts Man, Heat Man, and Snake Man's themes. You'll notice the two broken containers in the background. A popular theory that I like is that Cutman and Woodman were in those two. People have theorized that because the two of them appear in the Saturn version of Mega Man 8. Of course, I'm sure they didn't plan that out so soon into development, you know. But still, it's a neat little theory to think about, I suppose. That's what I like to think. Alright, time for the next 4 Robot Masters. We'll go ahead and start off by taking out Springman first. I know a lot of people consider Springman to be one of, if not the worst Robot Master in the entire Classic series. I personally am not one of those people. I actually don't mind Springman. I think that he's kind of a neat little design. His stage may be extremely pink, but who cares? Pink is just a color. I really like his fun little wacky music and everything that you hear as well. It's really kind of like kiddie and playful and everything. You see a lot of toys and springs and stuff. Kind of suits this Robot Master, in my opinion. Some parts of his stage I don't quite understand, though, like how come you see Mega Man's blueprints in the background right here. That's a little bit confusing, but other than that, I really do like his stage. I like how you can see toy soldiers here and there. And I especially like the different Met couples that you'll see in the little display cases here and there throughout his stage. His stage has quite a few hidden things, like a gigantic energy pelt that'd be on this screen, a gigantic bolt that's worth 100 on this screen, Otto's Hyper Bolt is hidden in this stage, you can get an energy tank in this stage. There's quite a bit in his stage. Overall, I don't mind Springman at all, and I really don't believe that he's one of the worst Robot Masters in the entire Classic series. I personally think that his stage is a lot of fun, and I don't care that everything is pink. Like I said, it's just a color. Who really cares? Alright, just like that, we are now at Springman. We don't have his weakness. His weakness is Slash Claw, so we'll be fighting him using Freeze Cracker, as well as a little bit of Junk Shield, maybe Thunderbolt. You can't attack Springman directly with Thunderbolt, otherwise it will power him up. If you hit Springman with Thunderbolt, he'll start dragging you into him, and if you get caught by him, he'll grab you and slam your head into the ceiling, which is one of my favorite things that Springman can do. That move just kind of cracks me up, just the way he can slam your head into the ceiling and throw you across the room. Pretty much I'm just going to be using Thunderbolt to take out his Wild Coil attack, because it destroys the coils in one hit. I suppose Junk Shield would do a pretty good job of that as well. Freeze Cracker isn't too bad of a weapon to use on Springman because you can aim it, get him whenever he goes up to the top. Pretty much he'll jump to the top of the screen, try to punch you twice, and he'll come down, shoot 2 springs, one to the left of him, one to the right of him. Then after that he'll just jump around and try to grab you. If he grabs you, he'll slam your head into the ceiling and throw you across the screen, so try not to let that happen. Pretty much it's a pretty easy pattern to learn. Even easier if you have Slash Claw. If you have Slash Claw, you can lock him into a pattern and just keep him constantly jumping up to the upper center of the screen. Really, really easy. Just be sure not to use Thunderbolt on him, otherwise you'll power him up. Whatever the case is, Springman is now down now. Time for another weapon. Alright, for defeating Springman, we get the Wild Coil weapon, which is a chargeable weapon. Whenever you charge up the weapon, you get 1.5 times the attack power as opposed to twice as much as you'd get from like the Mega Buster or something like that. You also can't shoot any charged coils off of ladders, which I'm sure was just a glitch and an oversight in development and everything. Still kind of interesting though. Whenever you use it, you'll fire one spring to the left of Mega Man and one spring to the right of Mega Man. It's really energy efficient. It only uses 1 bar of weapon energy per normal shot. It's not the most powerful or anything. It does have an area or two where it can be kind of useful. Overall, I don't mind this weapon. You just gotta know where you can use it. Right here isn't too bad of an area. You actually got better options for fighting that enemy, but it's still an area where Wild Coil could be useful. Here we are in Turbo Man stage. I especially like Turbo Man's music, and I really like his stage overall. The whole tire factory or whatever it is that we're in, it's a really good stage in my opinion. Whenever you charge up Wild Coil, it'll cost 2 bars of weapon energy, but like I said, it gives it 1.5 times as much attack power, and the springs will jump higher as well. Back on the subject of Thunderbolt, I never got to explain much about that. Basically, it lets you fire constant charged shots from the Mega Buster. It has the same strength as a Mega Buster's charged shot. You can only have one shot on the screen at a time. Whenever you shoot it, it'll go forward until it hits an enemy. Whenever it hits an enemy, it'll split into 2 shots, and one will go up, one will go down. A lot of times, whenever it splits into the 2 shots, it'll hit the enemy a second time, thus doing twice as much damage as a charged shot. It's really energy efficient. It only uses up 1 bar of weapon energy per shot, thus giving you 28 uses to a full bar of weapon energy. And you can power up broken down electronic machines in Junkman stage, so it has some utility functions as well. Overall, it's a really powerful and really good weapon. One of the best here in Mega Man 7 in my opinion. Here we are at the mini-boss of Turbo Man stage. Went down really easy. I like the little sissy truck. I like the face that it makes whenever you destroy it. We're on the final stretch to Turbo Man right now. Here we are. Turbo Man is actually weak to the Noise Crush, which is Shade Man's weapon, but we don't have that, so we'll stick to using other weapons. I think we'll go ahead and team it up between Freeze Cracker and Wild Coil against Turbo Man. Wild Coil isn't too bad. You can keep sliding away and still attack him at the same time. Whatever you do, don't use Thunderbolt on Turbo Man, otherwise you'll power him up. You'll make him temporarily invincible, and he'll keep driving around the room, so be sure not to use Thunderbolt on him. Pretty much just what I'm going to be doing is using Freeze Cracker and Wild Coil on him. Easy enough. The logic behind Turbo Man being weak to Noise Crush is that he always has his stereo on its max volume, so if you're hitting him with Noise Crush, it's pushing him beyond his maximum output or whatever, therefore doing a lot of damage to him. I never understood that weakness for a long time until I read about how he keeps his stereo on max volume and everything. Overall, I like Turbo Man. He's probably one of my favorite robot masters. He's just really cool. I like the Transformer robots and everything. Alright, just like that, Turbo Man is now down and out. We're just about to get his weapon, which is a Scorch Wheel. In my opinion, the Scorch Wheel is a very underrated weapon and deserves a lot more attention than what it gets. It gets a lot of hate. But whatever the case, though, Turbo Man is now down and out. Time to get his weapon. Alright, for defeating Turbo Man, we get the Scorch Wheel weapon, which is pretty powerful. It only uses up 2 bars of weapon energy per shot, thus giving you 14 uses to a 4 bar of weapon energy. Whenever you use it, it'll create a small wheel of fire around Mega Man, which can act as a really tiny shield. Not really a reliable shield, it doesn't have much range, but it can destroy some enemies that touch Mega Man. Its main use for me is to launch it off to attack enemies down below me. It's pretty powerful for that. It can destroy a lot of enemies in one hit. It has quite a few utility functions, such as being able to melt the ice in Freeze Man stage, or being able to light up the dark areas in Shade Man stage here. But I think the reason why Scorch Wheel gets such a bad reputation is the fact that you don't get it until so late in the game. And by the time that you get it, you already have the superior Junk Shield weapon, so really Scorch Wheel doesn't get hardly any attention. Plus, a lot of its utility functions, or some of its utility functions anyway, you don't get to see because you've already beaten the stages before you can get the weapon, like melting the ice in Freeze Man stage. You can also burn trees in Slash Man stage using that weapon as well. So overall, I think the Scorch Wheel is actually a really good weapon and doesn't deserve all the hate that it gets. Just my personal opinion, though. Here we are in Shade Man stage. Shade Man, in my opinion, has one of the best stages in the entire classic series. It has split paths, it has 2 music tracks. You can actually play the Ghost and Goblins music in this stage if you want. It has a mini-boss and appearance from bass. Lots of stuff, lots of good stuff going on for this stage. As you can see right here, you can use Scorch to be able to light up the candles throughout this area, thus giving you enough light to see your way through this area. Just another use of Scorch Wheel that I think goes unnoticed. You can also use Thunderbolt to light up the area temporarily. But still, it's nice to give Scorch Wheel a little bit of screen time. I'll go ahead and use Scorch Wheel throughout this area as well. Shade Man stage also has an appearance from Proto Man. If you visit him in both Turbo Man and Cloud Man stage, you can fight Proto Man for the Proto Shield weapon. And it also has a few hidden items. You can get a big bolt worth 100 in this stage, as well as the Energy Equalizer. So yeah, Shade Man has a lot going on for his stage, and like I said, in my opinion, it's one of the very best in the entire classic series. I like this little segment here where you're riding on the little bat elevator destroying zombies on your way up. It's nice to mix the weapons up and everything. We're getting ready to have an appearance from Bass. Sometimes I call Bass Bass on accident, just kind of what I used to call him whenever I was a kid and first played Mega Man 7 anyway. And they call him Bass in Mega Man 8. You'd think that they would have fixed that of all people. But oh well, not that big a deal. Alright, we are now at Shade Man. He is weak to the wild coils. Not quite sure why a vampire is weak to springs of all things, but whatever. I guess the logic is that he flies up high, and so the springs are supposed to be able to bounce up and get him or something. At least that's all that I can think of. Unless you coat the springs in garlic or something. Heck, I don't know. Whenever he's up high, I'm just going to stick to using Freeze Cracker. That's not too bad of an idea. Shade Man is just about down and out. Just 2 more hits. There we go. Shade Man is easy enough. He can also come down and turn you to stone and use his Noise Crush weapon, but so long as you use Wild Coil, he won't get the chance to do that. With Shade Man now down and out, we're about to get the Noise Crush weapon. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, for defeating Shade Man, we get the Noise Crush weapon, which is a pretty good weapon. It's kind of chargeable. It's chargeable in a different way. You gotta shoot it into a wall. Whenever you shoot the weapon into a wall, it'll bounce back at Mega Man, and if it hits Mega Man, the weapon will be charged. However, you don't actually have to shoot it into a wall in order to charge it. If you're quick enough, you can shoot it and then slide into it to charge it. So that's a neat little way to power up the weapon really quickly. The charge shot is quite powerful. And it's really energy efficient. It only uses up 1 bar of weapon energy per shot, thus giving you 28 uses to a full bar of weapon energy, and the charged shots don't use up any additional weapon energy, so that's really good as well. Overall, it's a really good weapon. Never quite understood how come you turn purple from it. Probably just because Shade Man is purple. I mean, I don't think the sound is purple or anything, is it? I really like the pterodactyls that you see in the background of this spot right here. Really cool. I also really like Slash Man stage overall, just in general. I really like the whole dinosaur theme that it has going on. Like right here, you had to ride on the dinosaurs to get across the spikes and everything. Just a really neat little Jurassic stage, in my opinion. I remember the first time that I ever played through Mega Man 7, Slash Man was actually the first Robot Master that I ever fought in the second set of the Robot Masters. The reason why I chose him was just because I had no idea what the world he was supposed to be with that red spiky hair. But I was glad that I chose him. I really liked the weapon that I got from him, the Slash Claw. Slash Man stage is pretty fun. Like I said, I just really like the whole Jurassic theme and everything to it. You got a couple of items to collect here. You got Beat. If you have Scorch Wheel, you can rescue him. And it has an energy tank in it as well. So you got a couple of items to get in his stage. I love going all out against the Tyrannosaurus here. I mean, they give you the health energy up here, so you may as well go all out. In this next area here, you can burn some trees if you'd like. I usually just burn the last tree to get Beat, but that forced rush usage for us, so I'm not going to do that this time. We'll just use Junk Shield and run through this area. There we go. Alright, we are just about to Slash Man. We're on the final stretch to him. Just kill all the baby dinosaurs right as they hatch. Quite a few weapons will kill them in one hit. Alright, we are now at Slash Man. He's weak to the Freeze Cracker. Scorch Wheel also does some pretty good damage to him, but you'll want to stick with the Freeze Cracker. Every time that he's down, you'll want to hit him once with Thunderbolt, and then you'll want to hit him again with Freeze Cracker. The reason why you'll want to do that is if you just hit him with Freeze Cracker, then by the time you've hit him 4 times, he'll have 4 more bits of health left. If you hit him once with the Thunderbolt every time that he comes down, he won't have the chance to go up and drop his eggs down a 5th time. So yeah, be sure to hit him 1 time with Thunderbolt every time that he comes down, or the Mega Buster if you're just doing a regular run. Just 1 more hit and Slash Man will be down now. Well, actually 2 more hits, 1 with Thunderbolt and 1 with Freeze Cracker. There we go. For defeating Slash Man, we get the Slash Claw weapon, which is short range but also really powerful and can pierce enemy shields. It's really energy efficient, only uses up 1 bar of weapon energy per shot, thus giving you 28 slashes to a full bar of weapon energy. Overall, it's a really good weapon, and I like getting up in my enemies' faces to kill them. Alright, with Slash Man now down and out, we got the Slash Claw, and that is it for part 1.